Okay, let's see if this pen works. Yes. So we are going to do something called solving quadratic equations by factoring. That's our overall topic. And today we're going to look at the zero product property. And again, this is page 13 in your Unit 2, Lessons 3 to 5 notes packet. And yes, it is very similar to the warm-up.
Doesn't mean exactly the same.
No, I mean very similar. So here's the deal.
Those questions will make it ripped right from the paper to the warm-up.
They do, don't they? All right, so here's the deal. Check it out. If you have two factors, let's just call them P and Q. And if the product of these two factors, P times Q equals 0, then you know that either P is equal to 0 or Q is equal to 0. Do you guys agree? Right? Another way of looking at it is like if I have X times Y, and I know that's equal to 0, well then either X must be 0 or Y must be 0. Okay? That's just kind of like a logic thing. So we're going to use that along with what we did during the warm-up to be able to solve these quadratic expressions down here below. So here are our numbers. Here are our steps. Number 1, we need to get the complete quadratic expression to the left-hand side, and the only thing on the right side will be 0. So we'll have the complete expression to the left and 0 to the right. Number 2, then we're going to factor the quadratic expression just like we did before. And then number 3, we're going to apply this zero product property that we just talked about before. And we're going to set each of those expressions equal to 0 and solve them. So what does that look like? Here's what that looks like. Just looking at letter A down here. Step number 1, I need to get the whole thing, the whole expression on the left side. To do that, I am going to add x squared to both sides to cancel out that negative x squared. This cancels out to 0, which is what I want to happen, and I end up with x squared plus 4x minus 12 equals 0. With me? Any questions? All I did was move this x squared over to the other side by canceling it out of the right side. Good so far? Okay, the next step is just to factor this just like we were doing during the warm-up. So I'm going to come off and I'm going to say A is equal to what? B is equal to what? C is equal to what? In this case, A is a 1, B is a positive 4, and C is a negative 12. With me so far? Since my leading coefficient is a 1, then all I need to do is look for factors of C, which is negative 12. They're going to add to give me B, which is positive 4. And since they multiply to give me a negative number, but add to give me a positive number, I know I'm looking for one negative and one positive, and the positive is going to be bigger. So let's see what we can do. Is it a positive 12 times a negative 1? No, that adds to 11. Is it a negative 12 times a positive 1? No, that's negative 11. How about a positive 3 times a negative 4? Nope. Negative 3 times a positive 4? Nope. How about a positive 6 times a negative 2? Boom! Those two numbers add to give me a positive 4, right? And then multiply to give me a negative 12. So those are my two numbers, and now I just plug them in. It's going to be x plus 6 times x minus 2 equals 0. Mr. Mitri, do you mind grabbing these guys an extra sheet of paper from over there? So, yeah, line sheet's fine. So you guys might run out of space here. We still have a little bit of work we need to do. And so if you need some extra space, just go ahead and pop over on this extra piece of paper. But is everybody with me so far? We just factored it, right? And set it equal to 0. And just like at the top up here where I said, if I had P times Q and that's equal to 0, then either P is 0 or Q is 0. Well, down here, either X plus 6 is 0 or X minus 2 is 0.
23.
23 is a prime number, correct?
Yes. Okay, so here's what I'm going to do. You guys can do this on another piece of paper. I'm going to erase this so I have some space to work right here. I'm going to set this up into 2 equations and just set them both equal to 0. So I'm going to do X plus 6 equals 0 or X minus 2 equals 0. With me so far? And now I'm just going to solve these. These are really simple. So I could subtract 6 from both sides right here, right? And I would say X equals negative 6. Or I can add 2 to both sides right here and say X equals positive 2. And these are solutions to that equation. And the way I can write that is X equals 2 comma X equals negative 6. These are my solutions. This is kind of a better way of writing it right there. Those are solutions to this equation. The reason for that is because they are values that if I put them in here for X in this original equation, they will make that equation true.